After that, I was offered a modeling job in Tokyo. And I thought, okay, I want to be a filmmaker here, maybe write and direct, but hey, you know, Tokyo is Tokyo, and there was a lot of money there. And I had written a script, and I sold it, and the company went bankrupt. It was Orion. And I tried to get the script back, and they said, I'm sorry, it'll cost you 3 times the amount of money that they paid for it. And I'm like, why? There are like too many producers involved, and they already sunk money into it. So I thought, aha, I will go to Tokyo and raise money. This is in 1990-91, where they had so much cash. In college, I studied international finance, too, because I wanted to make money on my mom's side, make your own money. So I went to Japan, and when you're a model, I discovered, everyone wants to be your best friend. You're so popular, it's crazy. You know, my billboards were up everywhere, and I was in commercials. Whoever meets you, because there's not too many Americans there, oh, I know you, can I have your autograph? Can I have this? So you get into every club for free. You get into everything for free. All you do is show your Z card. So I realized, oh, I've got power here. Let me use it. So every time I did a modeling gig or a commercial, everyone said, oh, let's go have lunch, or let's do this. So I made a joke of no one could have lunch with me unless you give me $1 million. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, look, I'm the model. Who are you guys? You're like these businessmen, you know, come on. So it just became an inner joke. That's my narcissist imposter, which I'll teach you about later. And they're like going, no, 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 let's just go have a drink with this. I never took a drink, had lunch with anyone unless they gave me $1 million. So everyone else is going out. And anytime you go out in the Japanese culture, they give you a gift. And if they can't give you a gift, they'll give you some money, you know, just to go buy yourself a gift. It's just who they are, or that's how they are to models. So anytime they try to give me money, I always said, no, I won't take $1. And the other models were going, are you kidding me? I'm here for 2 or 3 months. Grab as much as you can. And I refused it. So they're like, who is this woman? She won't take money. She won't let us take her out to dinner. She has this thing. So one person said, I'll bite. You know, let's talk about giving you $1 million. I said, well, it'll be a $50,000 deposit before I said, you know, for the dinner. So he started laughing. He said, let me get the board together. So I actually met with the board at this ball bearing company, and they were intrigued. They said, it's interesting. I said, what do you guys have to lose? You make so much money, and this is just a write-off if it fails, but I will not let it fail. I guarantee you at least your money back. So long story short, we went back and forth a little bit, and then they said, okay, let's have a meeting. So they gave me the main guy, and he took me out to dinner. And he said, we want you to be the actress. We'll do it, but you have to be the actress. And I said, I can't be the actress because, you know, I can't act. There's nothing I can do in the movie. So I said, I want to be the director. And he said, I'm sorry, you have to be the actress because you're famous here. At least we know we'll get our money back here. And he said, besides that, women are weak, and they can't control a man. And we need, you know, all the sets are crews. So I said, oh, really? And I looked at him. He's in his $1,000 suit. I'm all dressed up. I had a red glass of wine, threw it on his jacket, and just stood up and walked out. Humiliated him. I was scared, ran to my taxi. Get me in, get me back to my hotel. I'm there about 15, 20 minutes later, of course, the reception. You have a telephone call. I'm like, who is it? He gets on. You come down here and talk to me. Click. Come talk to me. Click. Are you giving me $1 million? Yes or no? No. Okay. So then he called and said, at least come meet with me at the cafe downstairs, like the coffee lounge. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And I went down, and I was very strict macrobiotic at this time. I don't know if any of you know what macrobiotic is, but it's really no sugar, alcohol, you know, drugs, oils, nothing. It's really clean, like lettuce, basically, and brown rice and miso soup. So I had Chinese food that night, because that's where they took me. So I sit down with them, and my stomach's gurgling, and then he leans his hand over, and he says, I'll do it, but will you sleep with me tonight? And then I just went, oh, my God, and this guy is a lovely person, not my type. And, I just went, blah, and threw up. On cue. He was going, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm a virgin, you know. Stormed off again, to my room. Ring, ring, what? I'm so sorry, I don't want to offend you. Click, what? He's like, can we talk? I said, put $1 million in my bank account in 1 week, or you can't invest in my movie. I'm going to let someone else do it. Goodbye. Click. I went back home. $1 million was in my bank account, and I got to direct my first movie. Yeah. And why do I share that story with you? Because that's the narcissist, imposter. So that's when there's these different sides of you, and people say, oh, that's an ugly side, or we have no ugly sides. We're all one. We're beautiful exactly the way we are. There's no excuses for not doing anything you want in life. We have everything we need inside. We're all unique. The sides that don't work for you, that people, especially when you're in a relationship, criticize you on, they're still positive qualities. If you turn them into them, you could have everything you have going for you to work for you, or they could work against you. You know, it's your choice. So well, first of all, I want to know, I do a process called soulblazing. It's a type of therapy with this imposters. Would anybody be willing to come up here and do some work? Okay, good. All right. Okay, so I want you to meet the imposters here. I'll introduce them to you. So here's imposters defined: a person who pretends to be somebody else, often to try to gain financial or social advantage through social engineering. What did I do to get $1 million? Yeah, that's exactly social engineering. Okay? So who are your imposters? They're your dark shadow, the negative voices yakking away in your head, the devil on your shoulders, sparring with your angel, you know, good guy, bad guy, and unresolved, unhealed memories, your cultural programming, and the voice that defines you when your buttons get pushed. So how many people in here turn into a different human being when their buttons get pushed? Okay. How many of you in here would like to control that? Okay, and not be reactionary and just be in the moment and be you. That is being your authentic soul. Because if you know who you are, no one can push your buttons. Nobody can make you feel any way you don't want to feel. Only you can do that. It's your choice. And again, your life, to create a beautiful, brilliant, magical life, is your choices. Okay, so here we are. Here's the wounded inner child. So we all have had cultural programming too, right? Everyone in here is different. We have a different mindset. We're all unique in our thoughts and beliefs. So in order to get along in the world, you have to really know how to connect with other people. And what are some things that stop you from connecting with other people? There's guilt. There's shame. You know, I'm not good enough. And where does, like, shame come from? Shame is when you can't connect to other people. If you could connect to another person intimately and really show yourself and really reveal yourself, that's why I'm really proud of all you guys who volunteered to come up here. That's what changes your life. If you're afraid about what other people think about you, or how well you're going to do, or what you look like, and your life's going to go down the tubes and everyone else is going to be soaring, you're going to go, well, what about me? Well, what about you? You know, you're not trying enough. You're not taking the time to connect with yourself. And it's hard work. And this is hard work. But when you do it, you get to live a life of your dreams. I mean, from where I was in my 20s to now, people always told me, oh my God, by the time you're 40, because I've traveled all over the world too. I've traveled to over 60 countries. That first European vacation took me to 60 countries. And why? Because that was my passion. But how do you get there? You get it by knowing yourself, believing in yourself, and regardless of what anyone else says. So here we are with the wounded inner child. So the first thing people notice is, I'm a victim of life circumstances. One thing I can never go without: my security blanket or someone holding my hand. My favorite things: expensive gifts. My pet peeves: criticism. How many people in here relate to that? Okay, I call the wounded inner child kind of like the queen imposter, because I think all of us have a lot of the wounded inner child and the other ones that kind of build on it. But we all do have a dominant one. Yeah, and the wounded inner child is that aspect of you that really feels that the world owes you. You know, you're needy, you're clingy. Well, this person did this to me, and this person did that. That person fired me, and I was a good employee, or, you know, that person broke up with me, or whatever it is. I don't have enough money because my parents didn't give me the right opportunities, or I couldn't go to college because I had to work. That's your wounded inner child at work. And how many of you have dated a wounded inner child? Yeah, more hands go up there. Not too many wounded inner children, but a lot of people have dated. Yeah, we know them well. Okay, so here is the clown. The first thing people usually notice about you is the sense of humor. One thing I can never go without is my sense of humor. Favorite things: my sense of humor. And pet peeves when people don't appreciate my sense of humor. So how many people in here have had people who said inappropriate things for the sake of a joke? Yes, or used you as a butt of a joke, or used somebody else in your, in front of you. Yeah, I had a girlfriend who anytime I called her husband would pick up the phone and, hey, how's it going? And I'd have to do this 2-minute routine with them. I'm like, can I just talk to my friend? And it was like I couldn't. I had to tell her, I am not calling you ever again. You call me because your clown husband is driving me nuts. Then there's the philosopher. The first thing people usually notice about me, my intelligence. One thing I can never go without, my first edition, leather-bound Dostoevsky. Favorite things, my inner circle of elite friends. Pet peeves, the ignorant. How many people in here are the philosopher? Okay, yeah, kind of a little bit too. Yeah. How many people know a philosopher? All right, okay, good. They can be annoying, but they're fascinating people. These people I love them. I keep them in my inner circle or my tribe because they always are well-read. They're doing interesting things. They're traveling all over. I'm learning from them. But to actually be with them or to date them, it's like, no, thank you. But I love them in my inner circle. Next. The overthinker. The first thing people usually notice about me, my eyes. No, wait, my mouth. Maybe it's my hair. I'm not sure. How would you answer this? So one thing can never go without is my magic 8-ball. Favorite things, Google. Pet peeves when people ask me questions. Because he doesn't know what to say. Doesn't know the answer. And overthinkers have a very challenging time if this is your dominant imposter making your life work, because you don't want to make a wrong decision. So you keep overthinking it until 5 years go by, 10 years go by. So how many in here are overthinkers? Okay, quite a few. Yeah, so we got to get that imposter in check. So the counselor, the first thing people usually notice about me, my great listening skills. One thing I can never go without, my self-help library. Favorite things, helping solve other people's problems. Not my own though, right? And pet peeves when people don't ask for my advice. How many people in here know a counselor? Right. Yeah, how many are the counselor in here? A good example of a counselor is like a mother or father who tell you what to do. This is the path you have to go on, not letting the child really develop themselves. The child wants to be, an actor or something. They say, no, you have to be a scientist, or they hate math, but you have to do math because I did math, and accounting's, a dependable job, or whatever it is. So parents are a great example of this, or your close friend. Don't date that guy, he's a loser. Don't date her, she's this or that. So you have to follow your own intuition there. Next one, the sex goddess. How many people in here are the sex god or goddess? Oh, come on! Come on! That's it? Like 3 people? I don't believe you. You guys all need to be soul-blazed. Okay, so the first thing people notice about me is my magnetic charisma. Nobody in here has magnetic charisma? That's pretty sad. Okay, now how many people are sex goddesses here? All right, all right. So one thing I can never go without, adoration. Favorite things, sensual indulgences. And pet peeves, stingy and boring people. Yeah. So now how many are the sex god goddess? Come on, how many people like chocolate and sensual things? Come on. Okay, now we have the fixer. Okay, first thing people usually notice about me, my approachability. One thing I could never give up, celebrity lifestyle magazines. Favorite things, gossip. Pet peeves, people who aren't hip to the newest trends. How many people are fixers? 1 fixer? 2? 3? A little bit? In what area?
My approachability and favorite things. No, I don't gossip. Pet peeves. People who aren't hip to the newest trend.
Yeah. But and the problem with being a fixer, even though they're like really fun go-to people, is that they don't really focus on their life because they're so scared of what they can create that they're focusing on, you know, what about Jennifer Aniston and Brad and Angelina? Did you read Jen's getting married? Oh my God, and Brad and Angelina are going to be getting married at the same time. What do you think about that? Do you think it's planned? Do you think Jen's pregnant? I see a belly button. You know, that is the fixer usually when should be focusing on them. So next, the narcissist. The first thing people usually notice about me, my godliness. Narcissist? You? Narcissist? Oh, come on. So one thing I could never go without, recognition. Favorite things, myself. Pet peeves, everyone else. How many people are narcissists? Come on, come on. God, you guys really need soulblazing. You got to sign up for these workshops. You guys are in denial. The next is authentic soul. Once you really burned past all these imposters and really made them your buddies and your best friends, because if you're not best friends with your imposters, guess what? What are they going to do? Sabotage your life, right? And what happens when you're buddies with them and you work in unison, you work in sync? Yes. Your life works. All of a sudden, miracles happen. People go, God, you're always so lucky. You always meet the right people. Why is your life working? God, you're taking another trip? What's going on? God, you're with this great guy? God, you're a millionaire? How did that happen? You just keep traveling everywhere. How do you keep, raking up the bank account? What's going on? And it's because you're in sync. It's a challenging road, and it's hard. And it's really uncomfortable because you have to really look at yourself from all angles. But when you do, that's when the magic happens, and that's what this weekend's about. So if you call forth that which is in you, it will save you. If you do not call forth what is in you, it will destroy you. Gospel of St. Thomas. How many people agree with this? Do you get it? Someone share with me, what does this mean to you?
It means you're whole. You're authentic self. You're in rhythm with the universe. You're respecting your own life.
Right.
And you're listening to your intuitive voice.
Yes. Okay, anyone else?
It means if you try to repress yourself, you'll self-implode.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely. And why do people want to repress themselves?
Because they're ashamed of themselves.
And why are they ashamed of themselves?
Because they've learned to be from some external source that they agreed with for some reason.
Okay, and how do you get rid of that?
By identifying and understanding whatever you've been through and coming to terms with that so that it no longer has power.
Yeah, but how do you do that? Yes. Going deep, setting intentions, learning how to focus, learning how to make the right choices. Every decision we make, right now you made a decision to be in this room. Wasn't that a great decision? Yes. The decision for Chris Howard to offer this for, some of us got a great price, other people paid a large amount of money, but it doesn't matter what you paid because this is worth it, right? Aren't we getting change? So that's what it's about. And if you don't do this, you're going to be lagging behind. What is tomorrow? How many people are going to be transformed? How many people are going to sign up for the Chris Howard tracks? Come on! You just said you want to be transformed. People, get with the program. How can Chris help you or I help you if you don't want to express yourself? How many sex goddesses are out here? Oh, come on! You guys need so much work. How many narcissists? Oh, come on!